I've got it.
What is that, your coloring book?
This is my coloring book. No. See, this is my coloring book. And here is my crayons, and there's 96.
That ought to last you the whole trip.
Before Dennis gets on the plane, you gotta get a paper bag.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
I want you to take a picture of all these sharpened crayons.
I know.
And then I want you to take a picture when Mom gets off the plane, because they'll all be down to nubs. Watch.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Oops, what are you doing?
Now let's hear you say something, Del.
Yeah, talk about their worst fears and what they're looking forward to.
No, and it's gonna be
Okay, you all get over there, and I'll take one with mine.
Let me take.
This is Kensington Palace, the former home of Princess Diana. This is where all the flowers were laid out on the day of her funeral. This is cool. She lived here, like, over here. I'm over here and have my room. It's good we get nice people first, because the French are going to be so rude. And there's a great steakhouse here.
Play the bagpipes.
There's a great steakhouse
Is
here.
there?
Yes.
Like steak?
Pub here. They're like right down here. But I don't think it's open at night. That steakhouse is neat. You can get a window view.
Excuse me, no recording, yeah? If you record it.
think I got it.
No, we didn't need the safety.
Say hey!
Hey there. Hey, how you been?
Oh yeah, got to play the horn down here now. What? Oh. So we look at my... We did have this
and those were cannon that were captured from the French. 4 very proud British lions that surround him, keeping guard over him. And you will, I'm afraid, see these pigeons once again. They like to live at Trafalgar Square, and people come to feed them. Now look straight down. We've got a good view. There are 2 cranes in the way, unfortunately. They're doing a lot of building work down there. But you will get your first view of Big Ben, at the top of his column there. They recently took off 1.5 tons of pigeon droppings. Can you imagine that? He literally was cracking up at the top of his monument. I think the horse they asked. Who's on the horse? That is this. I was looking at that. This one here is very important. It's Charles I, the king who was beheaded in 1649. This one here we're about to pass. And believe it or not, that is considered the finest statue in London. It's been in London since the 1620s, when Charles I was king. Then when he was beheaded, this statue was taken away. People thought it had been melted down and destroyed. And then when Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth came to an end and kings were invited back again, parade ground with red seating, that's Horse Guards Parade. We have all sorts of military festivals and bands playing in the summer months, and the Queen celebrates her official birthday, tripping the colour there. Then you've got the park itself, which is St. James's Park, but we like our parks. This one has a lovely lake, the home of the Queen Mother. That's where she lives.
I didn't know that.
So that's worth knowing about.
Did you know that?
And the soldiers will march down here and get themselves onto the forecourt of Buckingham Palace for about 11:20. And then the new soldiers who are going to replace them and take over their job for the next 24 hours, Buckingham Palace. Now, as I say, we've a boat to catch, but we're all right. What we hope we'll do, Dennis, I hope we'll be able to drop us just round the corner, and we'll say just 10 minutes or so, we'll get off, we'll walk across, you can take your photographs, and have a little break from me as well.
Oh, you're wonderful.
You're wonderful.
I don't know, she's not there at the moment, and I know that by looking at the flagpole. In Windsor, which is her favourite castle, and then she comes back on Monday, so I guess about 11 o'clock today, perhaps she'll be back. Chance to see the architecture on this side. The House of Commons is the elected democratic chamber. The House of Lords is not. And we have the Lord Chancellor is a man called Lord Irvine. I don't know if you've read anything about it. There's a refurbishment, and it's been a bit of a national scandal. The famous one, the one right in front of Big Ben, leaning on a stick with rather a stoop, is Winston Churchill. Yeah, you'll have spotted. He didn't like lady politicians. First lady to take her seat can't just walk down. Anyone who's got official business will have to have things x-rayed. They really are always on security alert. I suppose that's the way of the world now, isn't it? It will be the same. They will stand peacefully until 10 o'clock until they're replaced by another horse and rider. St. Martin's in the Field. And when it was built at the beginning of the 1700s, these were fields. I mean, it's amazing. Clean as Westminster Abbey. The Abbey's taken 23 years to clean it at a cost of £25 million.
By the late Sam Wanamaker, the American film producer, now deceased. All along to our right is Southern, noted during the 15th, 16th, 17th Theatre, and of course the Old Globe Theatre of 1599, of which William Shakespeare had a 1/10 share. Most of the land to your right in those days belonged to the Bishop of Winchester. The Luce 1952 in the Korean War. She is now a floating museum to British Sea Power. In 1078, the tower itself took 400 years to build. I say 400 years, look on top. There are 4 main turrets. Look very carefully at those turrets. They are completely different to each other. One is round, the others are square, some have more windows than others, but they're all completely different. Each reigning monarch had a new turret built onto the tower, hence the siege, and can be raised within 90 seconds. They work on a hydraulic principle. They only failed to operate once. That was on the opening ceremony, when the ship hit the bridge in front of Queen Victoria. I'm quite sure that's where she was. His head was chopped off, stuck upon a pipe to the entrance to Traitor's Gate, as a warning to would-be traitors of the crown. Sir Walter Raleigh went through there. He spent 8 weeks in the Tower of London for seducing the lady-in-waiting of Elizabeth I, the best advantage of all on Sunday, as he wrote his famous book, Voyage of the World. But the London Bishop would flock down here at the same seas to try to curb the piracy. He himself became a pirate, executed there in 1701. Hence, a little way ahead of us, to your left, just past the police moorings here at Wapping, you see that little building there, the red bay windows? That's a little old warehouse turned into a wine bar, public house restaurant. But look at the name on the top. Ahead of us, the Royal Naval College at Greenwich, designed by Van Bruss, Christopher Wren, Nicholas Hawksmoor, part of which is open to the public.
It's underneath the Thames.
Like you ready good?
Miałem bardzo ładne miejsce tam w Cieleku, tylko szkoda, że tam nie było. Czy po czym nie chcę zupełnie tam?
A to ze Szkota mam, to mam wszystko tam patrz.
I'm not sure how
Like resin on there.
Hmm?
Looks like resin on there.
Yeah, they're all put,
Non-slip,
you know, yeah,
non-slip
put-
resin.
yeah,
Looks right to me.
and they clean it all
Yeah.
every day, you know, really regularly. So there's
I
nothing.
expected to come on, sort of lumping to one side.
In fact, one of the trucks was it Saturday night. One of the
Much of
trucks
a
wasn't
view from
working.
here,
The middle one, and it's
haven't
quite
got much of a view from here.
an important truck.
the
that comes in on
reservoir's a
scene,
bit
basically.
off, and they
The
sit
whole
up
first
there.
half of the
Yeah.
show, they have to stop the show for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and then for the
Yeah.
whole first half, they couldn't use any
Sit in the dress
sets
circle
because
there.
everything's done without the scene.
No,
bit mad.
no.
Oh, no, no.
These things don't happen very often, thank goodness. Here we go backstage now. It is very easy to get lost backstage. Just to instill you a sense of confidence, I have lost people on the tour before. Behind the stage now. This area is called the Scene Doctor Run, and basically you have to get from one side of the stage to the other. For some reason you can't cross on the stage. You need another route, and this is it. It's called the Scene Doctor Run, or the Run rather, because that's what people usually end up doing to get from one side of the stage to the other. And they were converted to electric in the 1930s. Now they're separated by these four enormous brass columns in the middle here. These are our two hydraulic lifts. Basically each pair of columns is one lift, and they can be lifted together like that, up and down as you'd imagine, but they can also be tilted independently as well. Now, they don't work with gas or electric or anything like that. They work for us courtesy of the River Thames. They're water driven, and they work using all these gears and gauges and levers here. Now, as I said, I'm not technically minded, but basically each column has a lever and a steering wheel, or valve, or whatever you call it. These get opened up, the pressure builds up from the water, and these lifts can be raised up to about 13 feet above the stage and brought down 9 feet as well.
Now they came to us in 1894, but they were in perfect working order 30 years prior to that at the Vienna State Opera House. So they came to us from Vienna. They're unique to this theatre. You won't see equipment like this in any other theatre in this country. And thanks to it, we staged some of the most spectacular effects ever witnessed in British theatre. For example, we've created an earthquake on stage in 1911 in The Hope. You can imagine that because these can tilt independently, how effective that could have been. In 1909, we staged The Whip and crashed a full-size steam engine on stage. We've simulated the flight of a hot air balloon across the stage. In 1935, in Ivor Novello's Glamorous Night, we sank an ocean liner for 243 performances. And 4 years prior to that, in Noel Coward's Cavalcade, we sank a rather famous ocean liner, very topical at the moment, 405 times. We sank the Titanic and raised it up again 405 times, which not a lot of people can say. Again, with a tilting mechanism, you can imagine, because one end would go up, one end would go down, and the sinking of that ship, of that ocean liner, must have been absolutely fantastic. Within these walls, apparently, somewhere, they contained bricks from every single theatre that was ever built on this site, so it's got quite a bit of atmosphere down here, as well as quite a bit of dust. Now, I call this the Tunnel of Love, because back in 1662, when King Charles had the first theatre built, he had tunnels built under the theatre. Now, one of the tunnels ran right under the theatre down to the Thames, down to the embankment, so King Charles could just come up from the Thames into the theatre completely unseen by the public. Now, the second tunnel he had built ran under the theatre and across to a building which now stands at the front of the theatre. Of course, in those days it would have been behind. Nowadays it's a pub called the Nellivold Brewery. In those days it was called the Lamb, and it was where Nell Gwyn lived. Now, it's very convenient. Apparently this is what would happen. King Charles would come up from the Thames through the tunnel into the theatre for his evening's entertainment. He'd take his seat in the royal box. The lights would go down, the curtain would go up, and he'd nip off out the back through the tunnel and over to Nell's house, where no doubt she'd be waiting with a nice cup of tea and a packet of digestive biscuits. Up here, you'll see on your left-hand side there's a monitor.